The next category of induction is the Veterans category. The Veterans category was introduced in 1997, and I always say it was one of the outstanding decisions by the Hall of Fame Board of Governors to introduce the Veterans category, because it recognizes players who were overlooked as selectors got younger or younger inductees forced them out of the limelight. And the rules in terms of veterans, initially when this came in, veterans to be considered must have concluded their playing careers prior to 1965. Now in 2005, that eligibility was advanced to 1970, and it's now at 1980. So every 5 years, it moves 5 years. So right now, to be eligible in the veterans category, you must have been inactive since the year 1980. Now there's up to one East and up to one West every year inducted. This year we have one inductee. Our inductee in the Veterans section was born in 1933 in Whitby, Ontario, and throughout his long and illustrious career rarely strayed far from his hometown. After developing both his skills and his love for the sport in the youth leagues of Whitby, he moved a few miles down the road, or up the road, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, at the age of 19 and joined the Brooklyn Dodgers of the OLA Intermediate League, the 50s equivalent of what we now know as Senior B. He was a member of the Dodgers from 1952 to 54, scoring at a pace of over a goal a game and helping his club to provincial titles in both 1952 and 53. It was back to Whitby in 1955, where he played for his hometown Merchants for 3 very successful seasons, both as part of another championship team in 1956 and individually as a feared offensive threat. In 1955, he cracked the league's top 10 scorers list, finishing 8th, and in 1957 led the league in scoring with 62 goals. In 1958, he got his first taste of Senior A ball, scoring 9 goals in only 6 games with Mimico, but played the bulk of the season with Scarborough of the Intermediate League, finishing 10th in league scoring. It was back to Brooklyn in 1959 as a member of the Intermediate League Meadowcrests, where his 47 goals and 64 points earned him 5th spot in league scoring. And in 1960, he closed out his Senior B, as the Intermediate League was now called, career by winning his 2nd scoring title with 48, I knew this had happened, there we go, with 48 goals and 70 points, and leading the Meadowcrest to a provincial title, the 5th of his Intermediate and Senior B career. Over that career, he scored 337 goals and added 169 assists for 506 points, the goal total placing him 5th all-time among Intermediate and Senior B players in Ontario. But in 1961, at the age of 28, he was ready for Senior A competition, and fortunately for him, so was Brooklyn, as they entered the OLA Senior A League that year as the Redmen, a name now very familiar to lacrosse fans across the country. He played for the Redmen for 10 very successful seasons, representing Ontario in 5 Mann Cup series. The Redmen came up short in the 1964, 65, and 67 series, but finally prevailed in 1968, defeating Nanaimo in 4 games, and repeated defeat in 1969, this time dropping New Westminster in a 5-game series. During his Senior A career, he developed a well-earned reputation as a great teammate, one who would do whatever was required for the good of his team, and a complete player who excelled both offensively and defensively, and also possessed the toughness needed to do the dirty work required for any team to succeed. The 1,058 penalty minutes acquired in his 289-game Senior A career are proof of his toughness, and the 382 goals and 593 points he posted are evidence of both his offensive prowess and his stature as an all-round lacrosse player. He hung up his stick after the 1973 campaign and, in 1997, was honored for his outstanding skill, grit, and leadership with induction as a charter member into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. In 1999, he was again honored, very appropriately, with induction into his hometown of Whitby Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight, he completes the Hall of Fame hat trick with his induction into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame, Don Craggs. Don passed away in 2015. I'd like to ask that his son, Tim, come forward to accept on his father's behalf. Tim?
Thank you. It's a real honor to be here tonight to accept this prestigious award on behalf of my father and our family. Lacrosse was his great love. The best thing he got out of the game was the camaraderie of all the players that he played against and with. Many names like the Davis brothers, excuse me, Castayers from the Brampton team, Rock Bately, Pat Baker, so many numerous players from old days that you would have heard of or who are members of this Hall of Fame. He just loved the game, and I'm really glad he's been recognized with this award. Thank you very much, and cheers to all the past, present, and future Canadian Hall of Famers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.